My brother Sam is going to give you what the sources say. I'd just like to introduce the topic by asking why we hear so often from Muslims that the Bible has been corrupted. You don't hear it from Muhammad. You don't hear it from Muhammad that there's been this massive corruption of the Bible. You don't hear from Muhammad that the Apostle Paul totally corrupted Christianity. That's not what you find there at all. So why do Muslims in the modern world say this? Well, it's very simple. Muhammad came along and he said, the book that the Jews had, the books that the Christians have, of course these are revelations of God. And later on, Muslims eventually went to the Bible and realized this doesn't match up with Islam at all. Well, what's the conclusion to draw? The appropriate conclusion to draw is that Muhammad's a false prophet. He said something's there, and it's not there. He said that something was going to line up with his religion, and it doesn't line up with his religion. The conclusion is, he was wrong. He's a false prophet. But Muslims don't want to call Muhammad a false prophet, and so the Bible must have been corrupted. But here's an important question. How much of the Bible would have to be corrupted in order for Islam to be true? Because Muhammad is saying there was originally some sort of revelation given that the Christians had, that the Jews had, that was revelation from God. What we have today, the Bible that we have today, obviously doesn't match up with Muhammad's teachings. And so how much corruption would there have to be? Think about this. Over and over and over again, the New Testament, the Gospels, teach that Jesus died on the cross, that Jesus is the sacrifice for sins, that Jesus is the divine Son of God, that Jesus is God in the flesh, that Jesus rose from the dead, that God is a Father, that the Father is God, that the Son is God, that the Holy Spirit is God, that there's only one God, the Trinity. Over and over and over again, these are the doctrines that we find in the New Testament, and these totally contradict the teachings of Muhammad. So what we need, if Islam is going to be true, the Bible must be almost completely corrupted. There's a couple things that would agree with Islam here and there. Hey, we both believe in some kind of God, things like that. We both believe that God has sent prophets in the world. We both believe in angels, things like that. But the very core of the New Testament, in every book, had to have been thoroughly, utterly corrupted. Now, the question is that the picture you'd get from reading the Quran? If you didn't look at the Bible at all, you opened up the Quran and said, what am I supposed to believe about this book that the Christians have? What am I supposed to believe? The question is, are you going to say, these Christians have this thoroughly corrupted book. All of the core doctrines have been just horribly changed by evil people who've twisted and mangled it. Is that the picture you'd get? And as you'll find, that's not the picture you're going to get at all. So now you have a problem, Muslims. Your prophet is telling you to go to a book. That's right. And that book totally contradicts what your prophet said. So the only conclusion to draw from all this is that Muhammad was a false prophet. No matter what you want to think, Muhammad's a false prophet. Why don't you recognize this? Just imagine, if I come to you and I say, hey, I'm a prophet of God. If you go down by the river, there's a sign telling you to believe in me as a prophet. And you go down to the river and there's a big sign there and it says, don't believe David Wood, he's a liar. Don't believe anything he said. What's the conclusion to draw? That the sign's been corrupted? No, I told you something was going to be there. If it's not there, I'm a false prophet. Don't believe anything I say. And so it is with the New Testament. If Muhammad says, go to that book, it's going to say all sorts of valuable things, and it lines up with my revelation, and it doesn't, and the book actually calls him a false prophet, you've got a massive problem.